Hey howdy hey y'all, Allison here, and I always knew this day would come, but I certainly didn't anticipate it'd be this soon. Yet here we are. So I guess we'll just start from the beginning. Summer 2018, while I was at Target, I made a shocking discovery. Shopping in the little boys section it's really funny. It doesn't matter if you're at Target, Walmart, Kmart, I don't know, whatever. If there's a section designated to little boys' clothing, then you're gonna find some banging threads. They got shirts with cats riding giant fidget spinners in space, creeper onesies, they got Jafar pajamas. You're sultan. I'm not kidding. These are real articles of clothing that I found while shopping in the little boys section and purchased for myself because I thought it'd be really funny. Oh, and it was. Seeing a grown woman walking around in Jafar pajamas is really funny. I love little boys' apparel. There's just something really charming about little boys' apparel. I just feel so much more alive when I'm inside little boys' apparel. Okay, I'll stop.
If you guys want, I'd be more than happy to give y'all a tour of the collection that I've cultivated, do some modeling and whatnot. I just might make it.
I will do it. So anyways, I call them my cringe clothes, and while I love them dearly, I don't usually wear them in public. I mostly just use them as pajamas. So one night, last year, I was hanging out with my roommate, Natasha. It's like midnight or something like that. She was laughing at my newest cringe clothes, and then I jokingly put on this raptor mask that I kept in the room as, you know, kind of decoration, I guess. I called myself Roy the Raptor. That's when we got the idea. You see, earlier that week, a couple boys had moved in down the hall. Natasha and I kept saying to ourselves that we should go down and say hello to the new neighbors, but we never really got around to it. But that night, I don't remember if it was me or Natasha, but one of us was like, yo, Roy the Raptor should go be the one to greet the new neighbors. We went down the hall and, put an ear to the door just to make sure they were awake and we wouldn't be, waking them. And sure enough, we heard muffled chatter on the other side of the door. So we went back to the room, I put the mask back on, and I was off.
Did they have a sense of humor? He seemed nice. Like, we almost ran into each other. He's like, hey, so, nice enough.
I was a little scared, not gonna lie.
What happened?
I think I walked up to their room and then stood there for a little bit, got scared, and then walked back to our room about like 3 or 4 times before I actually found the courage in myself to actually knock on the door.
I knocked him. They didn't do anything. Should I try again?
Yeah. They didn't answer, but it was just so fun being Roy the Raptor. I couldn't call it quits for the night. I couldn't stop there. So I went back out and I spent the next 10 minutes walking up and down the 3 floors of my first year dorm, spreading joy and confusion to all who crossed my path.
Love it. Oh my god, you're back!
I loved being Roy the Raptor. I created an Instagram and Twitter account for Roy. I began to build up a bit of a lore that I would sprinkle in throughout the posts, mostly on the Instagram because the Twitter never really took off. The next day, I was back at it again, but this time I was not restricted by the confines of my first year dorm. I was out in the world, walking around campus. I ran around campus, climbing trees, jumping in puddles, and kicking fire hydrants, you know, normal dinosaur stuff. It was a jolly good time, but getting back to the room proved to be a bit of a challenge. I would go up the stairs and then approach my room, but then somebody would either walk out of their room or out of the stairwell, like either leaving their room or returning to their room. And I couldn't just walk into my room with people watching. I would just have to keep walking, you know, walk right past my room, and then I would, you know, pace back and forth up and down the 3 floors for a few minutes, and then I would try again, and then somebody else would, like, come out. It was so frustrating. It took, like, 20 minutes for me to get back to my room. But, you know, I couldn't have people knowing my identity. That ruins the fun. And, yeah, going out as Roy the Raptor became a somewhat regular thing. And, yeah, every time I went, getting back to my room was always a struggle. But it was worth it. I had a great time being a dinosaur. I became a low-key campus celebrity.
Oh my gosh, the Raptor's been a fan! Oh no! No!
It was like Roy the Raptor was on, like, everyone's mind for a while, but it wasn't quite in the way I expected. See, I figured people would, sure, be curious about the identity of the dinosaur who's recently shown up at their school. Sure, most people seem to think Roy the Raptor was cool, but they were much more interested in figuring out who was under the mask. Word quickly got around that Roy the Raptor lived in Stein Hall. I mean, it makes sense that people would figure that out pretty quickly because, I mean, I was regularly seen walking up and down the halls of Stein for 10 to 20 minutes, you know? And I was seen there more than anywhere else. And also, while I presented Roy the Raptor as a male character because I figured I was less likely to be suspected, I am a female. Roy the Raptor's a male, you know? You wouldn't suspect a female. You know, I figured it would help, but I was still a prime suspect for many people. It was probably my small stature that gave me away. I always wore that same baggy shirt, you know, and would hunch over to hide my... Still, I was a prime suspect among the people I conversed with. Eventually, I decided to tell my 2 closest friends that it was indeed Roy the Raptor. They admitted that they suspected me from the beginning, but promised not to tell anybody, and also they agreed to take pictures of me whenever I was out and about, and I would let them know ahead of time where I was going to be when, so yeah. And then I would of course post those pictures and or videos onto social media. Telling them proved to ultimately be a good move. Whenever Roy the Raptor was brought up in discussion, they would try to deflect from me. They'd be like, oh, I don't think it's Allison, I think it's this other person. And you know, people would buy it because after all, I was known to hang out with these individuals. So like, they're like, oh, if anybody would know, these 2 would know. Their testimonies proved to be very useful in deflecting suspicion. I'm an elusive dinosaur. Later, I was contacted over Instagram by the Gettysburgian, the school's newspaper. They told me they were planning on writing an article on me, so I typed up a bit of a, well, let's be real, it was a meme. A meme of a letter, and I slipped it under their door in the middle of the night. It goes as follows. Hello, my name is Roy the Raptor. Despite my threatening appearance, I am a predator after all. I am a very friendly dinosaur. Not many people know this, but I am the first dinosaur to attend Gettysburg College. Fact. That might not be a big deal to some, but it is to me. My goal is to go around campus spreading joy and getting a good education. I don't mean to frighten or bother anyone. I'm just a lone dinosaur at a school for humans trying to get by in life. My favorite hobbies are climbing trees and splashing in puddles. My favorite food used to be human, but now it's cooked asparagus. Like I said, I'm adjusting. Yep, life as a raptor is pretty hard, but I get by. I like making people laugh when I walk by. I like eating cooked asparagus. Sometimes I wish that meteor had never hit, but hey, you know, that's life. You live, you die, you try to forget the meteor that killed your family. What can you do? Anyways, I'm glad you reached out to me, Roy the Raptor. I love everyone and hope you have a wonderful day. With respect, Roy the Raptor, aka the Gettysburg Raptor. The article is pretty sweet. I'll link in the description below. So yeah, I also made these flyers that would hang up around campus, but they were usually torn down fairly quickly by the haters. And like I said in the letter, being Roy the Raptor was not always easy. First of all, it was exhausting. It was killing my back, man, doing all that hunching over, running around. It got really hot under that mask. And also, I would, like, just screech.
Which frat are we going to?
It jacked up my throat, man. I spoke with my RA, and she told me that Roy the Raptor, the school police were looking into him. The school police, whom we call DPS, Department of Public Safety. And I was like, oh, DPS is looking into Roy the Raptor, huh? She's like, yeah. With that look like she totally suspected me, so yeah, I told her. I didn't tell many people, but I did tell her because, you know, she was able to pass along a message to DPS for me. She let them know of my identity and that, you know, she passed my mission statement along to them. My mission statement, which was essentially that I didn't want to cause trouble. I just wanted to dress up as a dinosaur and walk around campus spreading joy and laughter.
Roy the Raptor! It's amazing! It's huge! Roy the Raptor really is amazing!
Not everybody realized that, of course. This one time I walked into a building and these two girls were standing there and they just immediately go, "Take one more step and I'm calling DPS!" And I don't want to mess with that. I just left thinking to myself like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was against school policy to be a goddamn dinosaur. But at the end of the day, school police were not
Roy's
biggest obstacle, nor was the struggle of getting back to my room without being spotted. No. Roy's biggest threat were the Raptor Hunters. Someone created an Instagram account called The Raptor Hunter, solely dedicated to uncovering my identity. This one time, I was actually jumped. I'm not sure if it was by the Raptor Hunter. I don't know who the Raptor Hunter is, but somebody did jump me at one point and try to yoink my mask off, rip off my head. Can you believe that? Luckily, they were accompanied by friends who were cool people and pulled him off of me and allowed me to escape. It was pretty scary though. Not gonna lie. Another time, I was just walking along, minding my own business, and suddenly I hear from behind me someone yell, "Ambush him!" And I was like, shit. There was a posse of frat boys coming after me, and I don't think I've ever run faster in my life. There was like a stampede. After that, things changed. I became pretty afraid of going out as Roy the Raptor. My vision was pretty severely impaired when I had that mask on, so I knew it was only a matter of time before somebody snuck up on one of my many blind sides and just yoinked my head off. Or if, you know, they wrestled it out of my grasp, or if, you know, what if those frat boys, that stampede of frat boys, had caught up with me, huh? What if anonymity being anonymity was critical to me? So I guess I decided I'd rather quit while I was ahead. Not quit, but take a break, I guess. When the semester of fall 2019 began, I brought my Raptor mask outfit, the whole ensemble, but I was unsure if I'd ever actually use it. I went out once and got some pretty sweet pictures before going back into hiding, until, that is, the very end of the semester. You see, I spent the past year and a half studying at Gettysburg College, but the curriculum wasn't really working for me, so I decided to transfer to Emerson College up in Boston, and I'll be starting there in January 2020, which is very soon.
I filmed this on December 17th and put off editing for quite a bit of time. Please don't judge me.
And I'm hella hyped. And yet, as my final semester at Gettysburg College was winding to a close, I felt sad. I was gonna miss my friends in my new home a lot. And also, I had never attended a single frat party. I never really been interested in that sort of thing. Nonetheless, I still wanted to have that experience, you know, before leaving. So, I rounded up a crew of bros to serve as my bodyguards and make sure that nobody ripped my head off.
Majestic.
And we were off, man. It was pretty hard finding a frat that was open in the middle of finals week.
Mr. Raptor, how do you feel about not being able to find a frat? Oh God, he's angry. Roy, what are you doing? Roy, don't do it! No!
Roy, no! You're on the double yellow line. No cars will hit you anyway.
No! You can't be suicidal!
But we still had a lot of fun.
Mr. Raptor, can we see that again? Mr. Raptor, did you say ooh-woo?
Eventually, we found a frat that was open!
Oh my god! He's
Yeah,
I was so happy to have that last experience as Roy the Raptor before leaving, you know? It was sad, but I think we went out on a bang. But oh ho ho, ho ho ho. Don't think that Roy the Raptor is over. I've just retired. Roy the Raptor, he ain't done though. I found myself a replacement to take on the mantle of Roy the Raptor. I'm really excited for the future. Who knows where this will go? I hope this new Raptor, once he graduates, he has another individual to take his place, and this just continues for many centuries. So, yeah. Go follow Roy the Raptor on Instagram at _Gettysburg_Raptor, and or you can also find him on Twitter at Roy the Raptor 1. Like I said before, the Instagram seems to be much more poppin' these days, so I update that one far more frequently than I do the Twitter. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this story. I love you all. Okay, bye!